Thank you, Pete, for that warm introduction. I'm so fortunate to be here in this community. This is my second Voice conference, and one thing is really stuck out to me, and that's that this is truly a community of people. And I want to build on that, but first let me tell you a little bit about me. Again, my name's Andrea Huels. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm Lenovo's head of AI, but that role is actually Chief AI Evangelist. And it's the most fun I've ever had at a particular job. But what my role is to inspire senior executives at quick-serve restaurants, retail organizations, and manufacturing companies on how they can leverage artificial intelligence to make smarter decisions, increase their operational efficiencies, and enhance customer experience. And I know you all can relate to those challenges with our customer base. So going back to this community, this is my second Voice conference, and what I'm noticing about the people in this industry are that they've all suffered some type of adversity, and that's what inspires them to do something different in the industry. So for example, I've met Ian Utilli, and as he grew a tech startup, then his leadership team fired him when they were about to go public, so he starts a nonprofit and creates music. And follows his dream. And yesterday we heard about Noelle, and Noelle is inspired because she has a child that has some developmental difficulties and a father with cognitive difficulties, and that inspires her to pursue conversational AI and voice AI. I personally grew up in welfare, a single mother, no car, we're on Medicaid, you name it, a challenging childhood. But that has inspired me to see opportunities where others don't see them, where they don't see that they exist. And that's what's amazing about this community, is that we have the opportunity to inspire people to see the art of the possible. So let's talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is everywhere. Okay, I guess I have to keep hitting these slides. There we go. Yeah, it's everywhere. So you take a look at your phone, and it sees your face, and it opens, right? And you talk to your speaker, and it plays your favorite song. And you're in the drive-thru of a restaurant, and you realize it's suggesting things that you typically would like to eat. So what's happening is that AI is so embedded in our society that we don't even realize it's AI. And that's when it's really amazing. But what's fueling this growth of AI? Couple of things. First of all, what do disruptive players have in common? Does anybody want to take a guess what disruptive players have in common? All right, I'll give you the answer. It's a need for speed, an absolute need for speed. Think about it. When you order something on Amazon, if I ordered this dress right now, I expect it to be on my doorstep tomorrow morning. At CES last year, Doug McMillon, the CEO of Walmart, said to the crowd, he did the opening keynote, and he said, Walmart is going to be focusing on 3 things this year, and they are artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and robotics. Then, just recently at an analyst call, the CEO of Target, Brian Cornell, said, we're going to be spending $4 billion each year on one thing. And guess what that was? Speed. Right? Everybody needs speed, so artificial intelligence fuels speed. And what else does it do? Or what else is driving that is a labor shortage. Right now, every 90 days, labor turns over. So if you hire somebody to work your drive-thru or wash your dishes in a retail operation, within 90 days, they tend to leave. So we really need to find a way to make those jobs more meaningful, eliminate them entirely for work that's more interesting, and address that labor shortage. But what I want to talk to you today about, what does Lenovo have to do with AI? I thought Lenovo made PCs. I get asked that all the time, right? We're the largest supercomputing company in the world, $60 billion. But what do we have to do with AI? What we manufacture is called edge devices, edge servers. So what is the edge? You know, I always have to stop because some of these terms weren't new to me. And I actually have my son in the audience here today. Not only am I contributing to the voice community by speaking to you today, but I've also, my offspring is now your newest member. Reed Huels, could you stand up? So this is his son. Yes. And he is interning for a company called Attention Live. But anyway, he's also going to be bringing up these servers so I can show you what an edge server is. So an edge server, you know, when you have all this data in either a manufacturing environment or a retail operation, I'll take this one, thank you, or a quick serve restaurant, and you need to process that, you can't go to the cloud because you need millisecond latency. Latency is basically speed, right? You can't wait. If you're at the drive-through and it's voice to text, you can't wait till it goes to the cloud, interprets it, and comes back down, right? There'd be this speed issue. So that's one of the main reasons. So this is an edge server. I wanted you to see that it's not like a giant, people think that Lenovo makes these giant, massive computer devices, but this is actually what, you know, I have all the business at Kroger for their intelligent video analytics, and I just closed McDonald's. So this is what McDonald's has in their back office where the manager works to process all of the natural language, all the NLP voice to text that's coming in the drive-thru, coming soon, by the way. So Reed, you can take this back now that everyone's seen. This is our SE350. But that's what an edge server looks like. And so, you know, what Gartner says is that by 2025, 75% of all of the world's data is going to be at the edge. They also make a prediction for 2022, which is what, 3 weeks away, that 80% of enterprise IoT projects will incorporate AI. And you know what? The way that the demand is for me right now, it's overwhelming. I wish there were more enterprise AI folks at Lenovo. We're hiring, by the way. So edge is absolutely exploding. Let's see the next. All right. But why does conversational AI need edge computing? So this is a unique, you know, your group in particular, the reason I'm here is because what you're doing, some of it can be in the cloud, some of it can be what we call a hybrid model, which is edge at the retail environment or at the manufacturing environment or at the quick serve restaurant, and then packets of that information will go to the cloud, and then, but not all of it, right? Because you really want that millisecond latency so that you can have those insights and that feedback immediately. I'll give you a real life example. So at Kroger, when you do your self-checkout, I've got cameras all over the Kroger, and they've been trained, my AI models are trained through the server to know exactly every item that's in that store, all of its dimensions, its weight, its UPC code, and so forth. So if you're scanning a bag of peas, but you're like, you know what, I'm gonna steal this couple extra bags of peas, I'll stack them on top of each other, we'll scan all of them and put them in the bag, it's gonna know that there's a problem there, but we don't wanna you know, embarrass the customer. So what we wanna do instead is to alert the clerk that's working in that area, and then they're gonna come over to you and say, hey, something didn't work with the peas, we need to rescan the peas. So, but all 20 cameras are on that one device, and there's multiple devices in the stores. But anyway, so let's talk about what's important there. You know, we can't have latency issues because then you're already in the parking lot before we've noticed that you've stolen some of these goods, correct? Same with security. We want to make sure nobody can like break into that server and get all the data about that particular place, that Kroger or wherever we are. Connectivity is a big issue, right? So you want to be at the edge because you don't want to, you know, lose connectivity to the cloud and then all of a sudden your operations, your use case has to be shut down. And cost, it's, you know, even my own pictures, as I've uploaded through the years since Reed was born, now all of a sudden they're charging me $20 a month to keep the pictures in the cloud, right? So as you send more and more data to the cloud, you're going to end up having to spend money, a lot of money, and then you're kind of stuck there. So these are some of the issues that our industry definitely needs edge computing or a hybrid solution. Now let's talk about McDonald's, and I'm going to show you what McDonald's actually is doing in a couple slides further into the deck, but edge computing really has unique environments. And what's super important is that you're talking to the customers in a retail, QSR, manufacturing environment about what exactly they need. So when I talk to McDonald's, think about a McDonald's operator, right? He owns that particular store, so he's operating at what, 3 to 5% margin, and the space that he has to put that edge computing device is about, as big as this square, right? His little office is not, glamorous by any means. So he says to me, Andy, it can't be very big, small footprint. It can't make a lot of noise. It can't be hot, because these things are super high computational, so they do generate quite a bit of heat. And he's like, I just don't want to hear that acoustic pitch that servers typically make, that annoying noise. So we help him design the devices so that they can, that they're designed around the customer's needs. And so these are some of the things that are really important to those customers. Okay, so now I just want to tell you a little bit about portfolio, and then we'll go into what McDonald's is doing. So I'm super excited because I've only been with Lenovo 6 months, and every time they come out with a new product, it's absolutely forbidden that you can even say the name of the new product. We have code words, what it does, anything about it. It's top secret. Well, it just came out December 6th, so yay, we can talk about that. And I'm going to tell you exactly why it's important. So we've got the 30, the 50, the 70. Reed, could you show everybody the 70? And how you decide is basically how much computational power you're going to need. So the 70, this small device, can do like 2 camera feeds, right? But it's something that you could use for voice or conversational AI as well. The SE350 is really our workhorse. That's the one I showed you earlier. You can deploy like 1 or 2 solutions on that. But what I'm really excited about is this new SE450. I don't even have a sample for you yet, but what's different about this, and it's going to be important to you in the future because you can deploy up to 12, even 14 solutions on the SE450. So when I think about a McDonald's, for example, so I just deployed natural language processing, voice to text in the drive-through, but they're also working on 4 other solutions at McDonald's. So they're working on suggestive selling. So I'm a pescatarian. I don't want to suggestive sell that I should buy a Big Mac, right? They should suggest a fillet of fish, or I don't know, some kind of sundae or something like that. So that's coming soon. And you know what else is very exciting in our community? I don't know if you saw NVIDIA's GTC, their keynote there, but Jensen, their CEO, talked about using avatars in the future to take the orders at drive-thrus. So for example, Snow White would take your daughter's order for her Happy Meal. So that's something coming in the future. But okay, now let's go back to the McDonald's operator. He's not going to want 7 of those devices stacked up for each of those software solutions, right? He's going to want it all in one unit, and that is why my job security is it's going to be amazing when that 450 comes out. You can start purchasing in March. I just got my first orders. Okay. All right, so why would you want to work with Lenovo? I mean, that's not a name in AI. If you're considering an AI solution, no, my phone's not blowing up. This is why, because that particular unit is how we put it all together, right? So if you are a CEO of a retailer or a QSR and so forth, you call Lenovo because we put the ecosystem together for you. We have 4 AI centers of excellence where we can do all of your POCs, which stand for proof of concept. We fund all that for you. We provide these devices at no cost for your innovation centers, or if you don't have one, we do that for you. We do all of the testing. It's called ML-Perf. That's the industry standardized testing. Which servers operate the fastest, compute the fastest, have the best statistics. We do all of that ML-Perf there for you. And we basically make your solution ready to deploy, right? So if you've got a unique software, we can actually integrate that into the server for you in advance, or you can do it, the customer can do it on their site. And so we talked about, I think you probably know that Lenovo's a $60 billion company. It's got multiple locations. Morrisville is in Raleigh-Durham area. So we can work with ISVs, which is an independent software vendor, to develop these solutions with their customers. So you don't have to go it alone. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay, this is my favorite slide. I know it's super busy, but I'm very passionate about this. Bringing it all together takes an ecosystem, and it's something that's very, very important to me. So what is an ecosystem? A technology ecosystem, and when we talk about artificial intelligence, is the server company. It's the GPU company, right, like an NVIDIA. It's the CPU company, such as Intel. It's the CSP, which stands for Cloud Service Provider, such as an AWS or Microsoft Azure. But it's you guys too. It's the independent software vendors, ISVs. And then finally, the system integrators that sometimes we utilize, like say a Deloitte, to pull it all together and scale. But what's so important is that all of those folks harmoniously get along, and we're friends. And I literally am like best friends with my ISVs. They call me all the time. I set up all kinds of panel discussions at CES or NRF where they're on my panels. And you know, what happens is ISVs end up getting certified on Lenovo servers, and so when you deploy your solution, when you try and scale it globally, it's super easy because we attest that it already works. We present together too. So I don't go in front of, say, Albertsons or Kroger or any of these retailers alone. I bring my team with me. So NVIDIA and Intel and the ISV, whether it's Deep North or Yellow AI or one of you, you have us to work with. So don't think you should go it alone. The biggest advice I can give to an ISV is don't think just because your solution is amazing that they're going to buy it and it's going to deploy perfectly. Because you have to think about what GPU do I need? What CPU do I need? Am I going to do a hybrid solution to the cloud? How is that going to work? And which server is optimal for that deployment? Because if they choose the wrong server, the price point's going to be crazy, or it's not going to compute right. So definitely take advantage of that ecosystem and reach out to somebody like me to help you make it happen. So how did we do this at McDonald's? I mean, that's a big corporation, and I'm just starting my global deployment, 6,000 different languages and dialects. So this is what we're doing at McDonald's. We've got machine learning at the edge. Your card's going to arrive at the drive-thru, and that's going to trigger the automatic order taking to welcome the customer. Then you're going to speak into the microphone, right? And you're going to say what your order is, and it could be Swahili, it can be Dutch, it can be hillbilly English, whatever that is. You're going to speak into there, and it's going to process that, and you're going to see that on the display. This is coming soon, by the way. If you live in Chicago, that's where they do all their innovation. They've got 10 different sites that are POCs, but we're out of POC now, but you'll still see it in Chicago. But what's the advantage here is that you may think I'm taking somebody's job, but honestly, who grows up and says, I want to work at the drive-thru at McDonald's, or I want to be a dishwasher, right? We want them to have meaningful work. We want to make their jobs easier. So this is what we're doing here. So then the voice agent's going to simply look at the order. You guys are going to confirm it, and they're going to give you your total, and you're going to drive through. And it's going to notify that point-of-sale system. So what are we doing? What is the end game here? Reduce transactional friction. That's what we want to do to enhance customer experience, reduce the transactional friction. And that's what all of you do, Conversational and Voice AI does for our community. So this is my leadership team, or actually my team. And normally I never travel without them because believe it or not, even in this day and age, a lot of corporate executives like to put me in a room in front of all of their IT team and innovation team and play Stump the Blonde. So I get these questions and they just completely go over my head. So I typically travel with an entourage of these folks, like scientists and PhDs and so forth, but that's why we're not going to have Q&A today. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you get all of these folks to work with, and so to be quite honest, when I know I have one of those type of meetings, like upcoming with Home Depot, I know I'm going to get 12 of their scientists, I bring my team. So this is just a little bit about me, and I'm really, really grateful to have this opportunity to speak with you today. Please feel free to reach out to me in the future if you have customers you're working with and you want to bring that ecosystem together, because I can help you do that. And last of all, there we go. Thank you very much for your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy.